Hello, I'm Lucinda Carver, Artistic Director of Centrum's Port Townsend Chamber Music Festival. This year, in addition to 2 concerts of traditional chamber music featuring the amazing Calder Quartet, we are adding a new component, a concert of Baroque chamber music featuring period instruments performed by my world-class colleagues Sue Feldman, Baroque violin, Leif Woodward, Baroque cello, and Courtney Huffman, soprano. In addition to our concert, my colleagues and I will present a workshop of Baroque performance practice. I'm very excited about this new adventure and would like to give you a taste of what to expect. The history of Baroque performance in the 20th century was an interesting one. The first half of the century, the approach to Baroque music represented a bit of a continuum of the 19th century. Editions of Bach and his contemporaries were heavily edited with performance suggestions such as dynamics, articulations, pedalings in the keyboard music, and even metronome markings, despite the fact that the metronome wasn't even invented until Beethoven's time. In the 1950s and 60s, urtext editions of Baroque music began to appear, unadulterated scores containing only what the composer wrote, without the additional performance suggestions. Then, in the 1970s and 80s, a major revolution in historical performance took place. Incredible musicians such as Nicholas Harnoncourt, Christopher Hogwood, Trevor Pinnock, and several others, who were both fabulous performers and major scholars, began to revisit Baroque music based upon the writings and treatises written during the Baroque period. The recordings that resulted from this scholarship, performed on instruments of the period using gut strings, the lighter Baroque bows, and the reedy sounds of Baroque winds, turned the musical world on its ear, so to speak. In the last 20 years or so, there's been a bit of a resulting pendulum shift in that the performance of Baroque music on period instruments has become so pervasive that many symphony and chamber orchestras no longer perform this music on modern instruments at all. There's a bit of a self-conscious mindset with modern performers who feel that one must now be some sort of an expert to perform this music. I find this to be truly unfortunate. One of the courses I teach at the USC Thornton School of Music is a class on Baroque interpretation. The class is geared towards keyboard players and string players. In this course, I work to bridge the gap so that our students can perform Baroque music in a stylish and historically informed manner, whether they are playing on modern instruments or Baroque instruments, on the piano or the harpsichord. Our Centrum workshop is going to cover many of the same topics: ornamentation, articulation, bowing, and larger issues such as the interdependence of tempo, spirit, and affect. Let's look at one of the topics, ornamentation. One of my favorite quotes on this topic comes from a 1723 treatise by Pier Francesco Tosi. He states that, quote, "Ornamentation is to music what clothing is to the human body. And while there are many bodies which look perfectly beautiful, adorned with nothing but a ribbon in the hair, most bodies look better with clothing." I love this quote, of course, because it's so colorful, but also because it gives us a very important clue as to the pervasive practice of adding embellishments to music. It was a skill that musicians were simply expected to have. However, today, there is often a reticence to add embellishments on the part of musicians. They are self-conscious about doing so, or don't know where to begin, or what sort of parameters are involved. One of my favorite places to turn in this regard is to the great master himself, Johann Sebastian Bach. We are incredibly fortunate because in 2 of the English suites, he provides us with a set of embellishments for the saraband movements. Let's take a look at the saraband from the G minor English suite. Bach writes out the saraband and then adds instructions for playing the repeats entitled Les Agrèments pour la même sarabande, or The Ornaments for the Same Sarabande. Here's the ornamented version. You can see here that Bach not only richly embellishes the sarabande in the French manner by adding additional ornaments or substituting more elaborate ornaments, but he also embellishes it in the Italian manner by filling in intervals with runs and flourishes, making the music much more melismatically rich. I hope this will provide you with a taste of what to expect in our workshop this summer. We'll be looking at ornamentation in this regard and many, many other facets of Baroque performance practice. You're welcome to perform as a pianist or a harpsichordist. You are welcome to perform on modern strings, or if you are already one who plays a Baroque instrument, that would be wonderful as well. And for you singers, you're in for a real treat with Courtney Huffman, who is making a huge splash in the world as a performer of Baroque music. I look forward to meeting you this summer. All the best.